Hi Lakshmi, how are you?
Fine, sir. Good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking. So can you tell us something about yourself?
Sure. Myself Sahiti and I'm from Hyderabad. I completed my MBA in 2023
Mhm.
and I have 2 years experience in non-technical department. I'm working in call, right? Yeah. This is the basic introduction of me and I'm a classical dancer. This is my hobbies. Yeah.
Okay, okay, great. So why are you looking for a job in software testing field?
Uh, I am presently working in an IT company. So
Mhm,
I basically work very close with testing department.
mhm.
After working very closely with them for 2 years, I just find myself interesting in that. And I also see like IT is booming very much in these days.
Mhm.
So I am thinking to base my career in testing, like in IT field rather than other marketing or finance.
Okay, okay. So whenever this question is asked in an interview, so you can tell that you are actually working. So as you mentioned, you are working closely with them. So you can tell at
Okay.
times you're also a part of their team, in small deliverables, maybe when validating some functionality, when testing some functionality, right? So you can just tell them that you would like to work it in a real time. You have already seen those things before you, and you would like to now get into the hands-on thing. Then the next question would be whether you have done hands-on testing or not. Then you can tell you are looking for an opportunity. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and why are you looking for a job in the IT field in the testing? So, if IT is booming, but let's say tomorrow the IT might not be booming, right? And it might happen that some other field is booming. So, the point here is that what you are passionate about. If you like doing testing, if you like doing something, then definitely you would get success, right? So don't worry about whether that field is booming, whether this technology is, you have to keep up with the space with what's coming in the market, right? So automatically, whether that field is moving ahead or not, you would be able to succeed, right? If you are working with full passion, if you are working with full dedication in that particular job or in that particular role, I say, right? So that's how the things are. Okay. Now, what do you mean by software development lifecycle and what do you mean by software testing lifecycle?
Yeah, software development lifecycle is a process which helps us to build an software. It mainly consists of this step like requirement analysis, later designing the software,
Mm,
next implementing, testing, next deployment and maintenance.
mhm,
It shows like how we actually built the software right from the starting till the deployment to the customer,
mm,
whereas software testing shows that how the testing procedure should be done to test certain application.
mm,
This consists of requirement analysis, test planning, later setting up the environment for testing. We
mhm,
are later writing test scenarios, test case development,
mm,
next test execution, and at last test closure. With this we can say like the testing of the certain particular product is done or
mm,
software is done.
mm. Okay. Now let me give you one scenario. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Not yet. Yes, sir.
It is visible, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now you have a requirement A, right? Let's say you have
Okay.
got some document, you have got some uh, artifacts for requirement A, right? And you have
Okay.
written the test cases for that
Okay.
particular requirement, right? So let's say this is also A. Now, when you got this functionality for testing, so before you got this for testing, you completed your test case writing, right? Now, when you got this functionality for testing, right, it
Okay.
does not matches the requirement, right? So in
Okay.
requirement, let's say it was written that this button should be there, or this this is how the behavior, this is how the flow of the functionality should be there. So those two things are not matching with each other. You have already written the
Okay.
test cases, right? Now what will you do? Will you perform exploratory testing? Will you perform ad hoc testing? What will you do in this situation?
In this situation, I'll again go through the requirement analysis again. I'll see like whether the test cases which I wrote is as per the requirements or not. If I'm very new to the software, then I'll just do exploratory testing. If I'm already aware of that website, suppose it is similar to Myntra or Flipkart, which I already using, then I'll just go with head hoc testing.
Okay. So you will start testing.
And also I'll write test cases which match as per the requirements instead of just starting testing blindly.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So let's say if you again update your test cases, right?
Yeah.
And in updating your test cases, it will take some time. So
Okay.
at the end of the day, they'll tell you that instead of 8 hours of testing, you did only 6 hours of testing, right? So what's your point on this? What will you do?
Then I'll just go for exploratory testing. So if the
Mm.
deployment has to be done tomorrow, then I'll go for exploratory testing.
Are you sure?
Um, no, if I'm aware and if I have the documents like if they have detailed documents, then I'll go for head hoc testing.
Hmm.
If I have knowledge on that application, as I usually said before, if I
Hmm.
don't have any knowledge, then I'll go for exploratory. If not, I'll go for head
Hmm.
hoc.
Okay, okay, fine. So let's say if this situation comes to you, right? Then the correct approach is don't start testing. You had got the requirement earlier, right? As per the
Okay.
requirement, you wrote the test cases. Now, when you get that application for testing, it is not as per the requirement, right? That means there is some changes that has been done. Now, who will drive these changes? Either it's business analyst or it's PMO, project managers. They might be having some close calls with the client or customer, and based on their discussions, these things would have taken place. But maybe you may are a junior person, so you were not aware of this, right? So you should always approach your QA leads. You should approach your QA managers, and then with the you should collaborate with the dev team. You should collaborate with the business analyst, PMO first of all, right? That see, this was the requirement that was laid down. A was the requirement. Now when it comes to testing, it is altogether XYZ, right? So can you show me some evidence why these changes are being driven, who has driven these changes, who has recommended these changes? If they tell customer client, then it's fine, but you should have that evidence. Okay, there was an email and accordingly the test cases has been updated and now the testing also began. And this things you should highlight in the retrospective meeting also, that the requirement got changed but no one informed the testing team,
Okay.
right? So such kind of things, don't start testing. You got earlier the different requirement. Now why you should take headache of updating test cases? Definitely
Okay.
it's our role and responsibility. If it has been, the change has been driven from business analyst or sorry, the client or customer, definitely we will update, but then we should have some authorized documentation, some valid proof, some evidence that yes, this change is there, then test cases will be updated and then start testing. Because if you will start testing today, tomorrow again, and update test cases tomorrow again, that change might not come. And what about your efforts? Are you getting it?
Yes.
This is how things will happen. Testing is, of course, doing testing, but it is also simultaneously collaborating with the other key members in the team. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's tweak this question a bit. If you got requirement A, okay, you don't have time to write test cases. Okay. Now
Okay.
you got this functionality for testing.
Okay.
Then what kind of testing will you perform?
Um, I'll do it.
You'll do?
Ad hoc.
Ad hoc testing, correct. Yeah, ad hoc testing, exploratory testing. Ad hoc testing in case you are familiar with the application. Exploratory testing in case you are not familiar with the application. Okay. Now let's think more in this. Okay, you got this requirement A, got the functionality for test cases. You for testing, you wrote this test cases also. Okay. Now you when you did first round of testing, right, for this functionality, you found 6 bugs. Okay, now those bugs got fixed, and again you have got this functionality for testing. Okay,
Okay.
and now this time nothing is working. Okay,
Okay.
build is not at all stable. Then what will you do?
Um, uh, First of all, when the bugs are fixed, I'll just do and retest and also regression testing. If, as you said, the nothing is working, then I'll do smoke testing.
If nothing is working, then how will you do smoke testing?
Uh, if not with smoke, with the help of smoke testing, if application is stable, then I'll go for regression testing.
Okay, see, whenever you get the build, which is the first testing you will do?
Whenever I get the build, then I'll do first of all
First,
I'll I'll do smoke testing. So because we need to check whether the main functionality is working or not, whether the
perfect.
stable
Yeah,
function
absolutely.
is stable or not.
So smoke testing you will do. In smoke testing, you came to know the core functionalities are not working. The build is not stable. So you will not
Yes.
proceed ahead with the regression testing. You're getting my point.
Yes. Again, we
Hmm.
will ask a developer team to fix the bug.
Yeah, but that is the another build. I'm talking
Yeah.
about this build only. In this particular scenario, you stay here, right? For example, if you have to go from uh, from Bangalore to Goa, right? Sorry, if you have
Okay.
to go from Mumbai to Goa and it's a connecting flight from, let's say, Pune, right? If you reach first Pune, then you will be reaching to Goa, right? You cannot go directly to Goa. So
Yes.
the point here is you have done smoke testing, and in smoke
Okay.
testing, you came to know that build is not stable. So you will not go
Okay.
ahead with the regression testing. If now let's stick to here. You did smoke testing. You should share your test results with your managers, and
Okay.
you can ask them to share with the larger group, right?
Okay.
That build is not at all stable. Talk to the dev team. Why they gave you this build, right? It's a wastage of time, right?
Yes.
So don't proceed with the testing. Don't retest any of the issue because the build is not proper. The release
Okay.
is half cooked, right? So in that case, just reject that build. No need to do further testing. You can continue with your test case writing or something other routine works that you have. And once you get the new build, again you do smoke testing.
Okay.
And then you can check for those 6 bugs, whether those have been fixed or not.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this kind of scenario based questions you will get in an interviews. Okay, now let me open some website. So which is the most commonly used website from your side for doing no shopping, online shopping and all those things? I think Myntra.
I usually don't do online shopping. Fine. Yeah. With
Yeah.
any of
Yeah.
the Flipkart.
Okay, fine. So let's start with this website. Okay. Now this is a website that has been given to you for testing. Are you able to view the website?
Yeah.
Let me scroll down a bit. Okay. Now there are multiple festive offers going on, right? Because tomorrow is Diwali, right? So how will you test this website?
Uh, what kind of you are
So so you have to perform functional testing, right, for this website. So
okay.
you are supposed to give me high level test scenarios of performing various
Okay.
types of testing on this website.
Okay.
Hmm.
First of all, we'll check the each and individual icons which are above, like when, where after clicking the
Okay, so these,
click
okay,
on,
these are menus, right?
yeah,
Menu,
we'll
and in
check
this you will
menus.
have sub menu, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. We'll check whether all these functionalities are working, and we'll also check whether the whether we can able to access the search button.
Mm,
Once we are giving any category of like bags, whether it is leading to bags or
mm,
it is showing any other items,
mm,
etc. And we'll also check whether we can able to create a profile of ours.
mm,
We can add a product to wish list. Once it
mm.
is added, whether we can see that in that wish list or not.
Okay.
And we can also select clicking on each and everything like home decor, it is giving to 40 to 70% off. We'll also check like whether this discount is availing when we are buying this product.
Mm.
If they are saying like any coupon code is given, whether that we are able to give that coupon code or not, whether we can able to ask once we are thinking to decided to think to buy that product, whether we
Mm.
can able to pay via Google Pay, whether it is giving an options
So
or not.
payment options you are telling.
Yes,
Mm,
payment
mm.
options.
So when you were telling about coupon code, you can also add one more scenario, whether that particular coupon code is getting applied. For example, you have got a valid coupon code of 50% off. You are trying to purchase something which is having amount of say 1,000 rupees. So if you
Okay.
apply that coupon code of 50%, are you getting the change in the amount to 500, right? Or is it still remaining 1,000? So that's also one kind of testing. That
Okay.
test scenario you can cover. Hmm.
And whenever the product is added to cart, if suppose we are adding the similar products of two, whether it is showing whether two digit is visible or not, like
Mm,
the product is added twice.
right.
Quantity will also check, and it is
Quantity
also
will be
like
updated. Correct.
yeah,
Hmm.
and it is showing like new about studio, like it is in like new future. If anything is updated, whether it is popping up and making people to realize that something new updation is done in this app,
Mm,
we'll also see this. We should also see like whether we can able to scroll the product,
mm. Okay.
and
What
also
else?
look at feel of the app, and also we can do non-functionality like checking the performance testing.
So how will you check the performance?
We can check like load test and stress testing,
Hmm.
volume testing. Like suppose we are giving 2 to 3 items at the same time, whether all can be added to the uh, add to cart or not. Are there any limitation for adding the list to the cart? Whether the page is hanging during especially during festive times, as many of the people will be start purchasing the products in this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So in functional testing, you can also add scenarios like whether the search functionality is working properly or not. If you search some particular product and you search in two ways. One is you enter the correct spelling. Second thing is you enter
Okay.
incorrect
Any
spelling.
suggestion?
Is
Yeah.
are you getting some suggestions? Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that kind of search functionality. What if you enter space characters? You just enter space
Uh,
and then you search. What happens? What
okay.
if you enter some product with the special characters? Is it
Uh,
searching? What if you
uh,
search the brands? For example, uh, some brands are there, right? So what if you enter them? Are you getting the search results, right? Then after this search functionality, you can check if you have added something to the cart, but you don't purchase it. Then again you log into the website, right? Again you come to that page. Then those products should be there in the cart,
yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Now there are two scenarios. Once you added something to the cart and you had some X% of scenario. Once you again came back to see what's there in your cart, the percentage of the discount may be getting reduced, or is it the same, or is it getting increased also? So
Okay.
those also scenarios you can check. Now you were telling about non-functional testing like performance testing, load testing. So how will you test those things? So you can try to access this website with various users, maybe 80 users, 100 users, and then you can see whether this website is taking that much of load or not. Hmm, that is one of the aspect. Second thing is when you navigate from one page to another page and there is a load of more than 1,000 users, then what is the time that has been taken for all those elements to get loaded, right? What is the time taken for navigating from one page to another, right? So such kind of performance test scenarios you can test, and those things you can test it via tools are available, like JMeter is there, right? Are you aware about JMeter?
No, sir.
Okay, okay, no worries. So you can learn about JMeter also, and then you can
I
put
think
those
we can
tests.
also,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
No
I
worries,
think
please
we
go
can
ahead.
also,
Hmm.
I think we can also do integration testing. Like we will be going to different accounts for payment, right?
Different accounts for payment. Yeah, integration testing you would be doing. You'll be testing whether the payment can be done by credit card, debit card, UPI, cash on delivery, right? Those all options are there. Again, you can do negative testing is you can try to pay via debit card in which that much sufficient amount of balance is not there. You can try to pay via credit card which has already got expired. You can try to pay via any UPI option with invalid PIN, right? And then you can try to do the payment with entering proper OTP not received. So these are all the testing scenarios you can do,
And we can
right?
also do compatibility testing, whether
Hmm.
we can able to open it via link or via phone,
Yeah,
supporting different
absolutely.
environments.
That's a very good point. So when you are answering this in an interview, you can tell, okay, these are the compatibility test cases. I'll try to open it in a mobile phone. I'll see whether this website is compatible or not. Try to open in a iOS device and see whether it is compatible or not. That's a very good point. Compatibility testing.
Cross cross platforms websites.
Hmm. Okay, so that was there. Okay, now can you give me an example of a defect with high severity and low priority?
Yes.
Hmm.
Suppose if we take an example, suppose if I'm taking the example of Zoom. You gave me the link. Under this, there is a given option like terms and conditions. It is not a frequent thing where every end user open it.
Hmm.
Uh, Suppose that link is hanging,
Hmm.
that is high severity, but as usually people doesn't open it frequently, we may take it as a low priority.
Low
And
priority.
even though the build there is a time to release this build after 2 months, then also it is, as the main functionality is not working, it is an high severity, but the build is bit far and it is something whose people doesn't open frequently, we can put it as a low priority.
Low priority. Absolutely. It's a correct answer. Okay, now can you tell me about what is the difference between localization and globalization testing?
Yes. In globalization testing, we check whether the built software is able to, support in different cultures or different things, like whether we can able to add, able to access to different languages, time zones, whether it can able to adapt to different weathers.
Hmm.
Suppose if we take an weather app in India, it should show the weather which is there in India, and if we are using that app in US, it should show US temperature, not Indian temperature,
Okay.
and also the time zones, languages, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Like Google, we can take it as an example of globalization app. And for localization, we check whether the application only accept the default language, culture, etc. Sorry, not culture, language, time zones,
Mm-hmm.
weather, etc. Take an
Right.
example of Baidu, where this is Chinese Google app, where
Mm.
search app, it only applicable for that country, only one language.
Right. See, when you say globalization testing, right, it ensures that the software or the products those are designed, those we are testing, they should meet the need of the global audience, which you were mentioning, right? Whether you test it in India or outside India, right? Now, which are the various things that you will handle or test as a part of globalization testing is you'll be testing date time formats, then validation messages, then character sets. Currency also plays a vital role. Currency you will be seeing, right? So these all things you will be testing as a part of globalization testing, right? Now, what about localization testing?
It
Hmm.
will test whether the application is supporting the default language
Right, right.
or developers.
Hmm. So you
Right.
will have to test uh, with the languages, right? And again, date time formats and regional differences will come, right? So you will have to maybe, let's say if you are testing some Chinese based application, right? So you should have those Chinese keyboards with you, right?
Ah,
And then accordingly you can test, right? Is this clear?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, what are the principles of testing?
There are 7 principles of testing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the first one is like with the help of testing, we can identify the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is like early testing.
Mm-hmm.
Third one is like even though we do testing, we can't say the application is 100% bug free. Um, Next, pesticide paradox,
Okay. What
defect
is that?
clustering.
Pesticide paradox?
Uh, we can use the test cases or test scenarios.
Mm.
We can use those things. Yeah.
No, no, so pesticide paradox is something that every time you will have to update your test cases, you will have to update your test scenarios, right?
Okay.
For example, you had some functionality A in the past and you wrote some 20 test cases. Now, when you get functionality B, you will have to update your test cases in order to ensure that you are able to find new bugs. If the test cases will be repeated, you won't be getting those same bugs again and again. For example, if you were testing functionality A earlier and you got some changes in the functionality A, such as A1, now it has become. So you will have to modify your test cases. Otherwise, you won't be able to find bugs in A1 also, right? So that is pesticide paradox. You will have to update, you will have to uh, refine your test cases. Hmm. Okay, so 4 principles you have covered. Then you were telling something about
And,
it. Yeah, please go ahead.
and testing can't be an exhaustive testing always. This
Okay,
is also one.
exhaustive testing is not possible.
Uh,
Correct.
defect clustering.
Defect clustering. Okay.
I think I
What else?
covered
Okay, great. So there is
7.
one principle which needs to be covered, but let that be an open question for the people who are watching this video, right? 7 principles of testing, 6 she has covered, one you can put in the comment section of the video. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, Lakshmi, for joining for this mock interview. All the questions has been done, and I think apart from 1 or 2 questions which were scenario based, the first one, when will with testing you will perform, but you don't have to start the testing, right? So that question and the website related test scenarios which you had to tell, so you can focus on those kind of questions. Be prepared for these kind of questions. Definitely they'll come in an interview, right?
Yes.
Rest all looks good. Communication wise, it's fine, right? You have got confidence also. And yes, there was one more question, why you want to go for testing, right? So accordingly
I'll
give the answer. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Lakshmi, and wish you all the best for your career, and happy Diwali to you and your family.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, I
thank you.
have few
Yeah,
more questions.
yeah, yeah. Please ask. Okay, let me
In
stop recording.